Live streaming is on.
They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are room for the lovers. Polly, Polly. They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are room for the lovers. Polly, Polly. So glad you came. You and you. Cause without one it wouldn't be the same, no substitute. Let me kiss you while you place your hand where she wants. She's got me in my back, two on the side, you on the front. Now here come the sun. They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are room for the lovers. Polly, Polly. They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are room for the lovers. Polly, Polly.
So many ways to loving us. BDSM, you like it rough. Our cups just love watching us fuck close up. Wife covered in nut, her husband there to clean it up. Nasty as we gotta be, breaking the monotony. Cosplay menagerie, all out debauchery. We share so well, sister wives and subs, lifestyle and swinger clubs, threesomes, foursomes, moresomes, awesome, thirst traps and snacks, the whole room starving. Having my cake and eating. Done took on a different meaning, cause you eating it too, see. We do it all and keep it true, so what the fuck's cheating gonna do? I don't want nobody but you, unless I'm being poly with you. I don't want nobody but you, unless I'm being poly with you. I don't want nobody but you, unless I'm being poly with you.
Yeah, I don't be going there. No, I need to bring you to the original location to have.
Hi. I have 16 different devices on, so I'm going to sit on my phone so no one else in this coffee shop has to hear it. Welcome to our speaker series for Sex Work Survival Guide and my extreme close-up on my face. We are also live streaming to YouTube, so this will be available after after when it's recorded technology. So today we have Dr. Ash, the I'm the vice president, the secretary and treasurer of Sex Work Survival Guide, tax goddess, and owner CEO of DiTa Inc., where she runs shit. So I am going to turn it over to Dr. Ash so y'all can ask all of your questions. Let me pin you to the stage, Dr. Ash. There you are. Okay, I'm muting myself.
Amazing. Thank you, Kat. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday to everybody. Thanks for being here today. Hope you are not too cold. I saw some people in Alaska, for example. Oof. So I'm in Austin, Texas. So today we are not cold. We were 2 days ago, not anymore. So today it's really like it's really your time. I'm here like 1 hour for you. I'm not doing any presentation. It's really like, please come with your question. It's your time. We got some question that came like earlier, like via when people did register, like all of you did register. So I'm gonna to go to those questions first. And after that, it's like please feel free to raise the hand if you like to ask a question like live directly, or if you prefer, you can type it in the chat, and we will monitor the chat to make sure that that we see your question. Okay, so sounds good for everyone. Let's go. So on the question that we got like in advance, so let's start with one. Someone did ask, so how likely is one to be flagged by the IRS? And is there anything you could do that's an absolute flag? So when you say flagged by the IRS, I'm assuming that you are concerned about the profession that you are doing, like being flagged by the IRS as a sex worker. I'm assuming this is what the person mean. So how to not be flagged? I mean, the IRS, they absolutely don't care what you are doing, so they are not gonna to flag you. The IRS wants you by law to disclose all your income, and I know it's very hard for people sometimes, but it includes your cash income. They just would like you to clearly say everything, and that's it. After that, what you are doing, it's none of their business. Even in the adult industry, sex work industry, like there's many tax deduction that you have the right to take. There is rules for the IRS when you take deduction. So as long as you respect the rules, I mean, the IRS will not flag you like to do a tax deduction of, I don't know, like 25 dildo, for example. Clearly not. It's none of their business. It doesn't matter. What's gonna to flag you, for example, for an audit thing, it's more like if you have if you permanently always take deduction and never show income, after 3 years of doing only losses, like the IRS will come to you and say that they will not consider like your activity as a business, and they will consider it as a hobby, and they will not allow you to take any deduction anymore for that. So like there is a time, like they understand that you can start a business, and at the beginning it makes sense to take deduction, but on a longer term, they will not allow it anymore. So, and obviously if you don't have any income, even not from a vanilla job, then you will not have any deduction. So that's it. But from the work point of view, nothing is gonna to flag the IRS. It's none of their business. Even if you were a drug dealer, you will have to pay your tax. So they care very much about that. Another question that I saw, like help on getting back on track with IRS. Is there any easier way to go about late reporting and back pay one host? So that it's really, I'm gonna say it depends of your situation. Clearly, if you have a vanilla job and you are late with your tax on your vanilla job, the IRS they do have tax clinic that are free. You can go on their website, and you can ask for support on free help from the IRS directly. And there is a lot of tax people who participate who volunteering that, and usually like a day or two per year. And it's totally free to you, but you need to have a vanilla job. If you don't, that's another story. After that, if you owe the IRS a lot of money, and like let's say you didn't file for a long time, there is no loophole or whatever, like you have to file, because as long as you didn't file, the limitation time for audit continue to run. So like sometimes people think like, oh, what if I didn't file, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, if the IRS must, like, they still have the right to come after you because you are not in compliance, you didn't file. Like the start of the counting time of audit start at the time of, with a limitation, start at the time that you send your tax return. But as long as you don't file, you keep this door open as long as you are not filing, which is not necessarily a good thing. And if when you file like multiple years at the same time, like if it ends up that you owe a lot of money, there's always a way to discuss with the IRS, but that is really depend of your financial situation. I mean, if you are on the low spectrum of the income, it most likely it will be very easy to discuss with the IRS and to agree as for a settlement. But it means that you need to come with a little money too, because usually the way that they will accept a settlement most of the time is gonna to be like, hey, I owe you, like, I don't know, for the last, let's say 10 years, I should have paid like $100,000. I'm saying whatever, but I can't, and I know I should have filed. So you explain your situation, and you're like, but right now, I can give you like $2,000, and I take a commitment to pay you like, I don't know, X amount every month for the next whatever time. And obviously, you will never there's a way like to make an agreement with them where you don't pay the full amount. You can on back tax. Like some people have been crazy successful at paying only maybe 5 or 10% of what you owe. But it doesn't work all the time. But it's really, again, depending of your financial situation. If you are on the other side that today you made a lot of money, it's gonna have to be very hard to ask for a settlement with the IRS, but always worth to try, even if today you are in a better situation. Okay, so other question was, I have a vanilla business, heart business, and sex worker business, but I want only one legal business, and I want one business entity for tax purposes as a multimedia company. Is LLC the best choice than DBA under the bigger LLC umbrella for vanilla and art? Right now, I do everything as a freelancer. So that requires a deeper conversation. There's another thing in your conversation. So I will, depending of what is your vanilla business, for the person who asked the question, it seemed that it was Simon, probably. I'm making a deduction based on the email, that's it. So it's really depending of what is your vanilla business and what exactly is your art business, because depending on what they are, like if your vanilla business and your art business includes goods, like let's say your vanilla business is you own multiple rental properties and you rent them, like you have assets, I will absolutely not leave them as a company that do services. Definitely not, because if you put everything under the same only one legal entity, you put everything at risk. Like if someone sue your business, all of that is at risk and exposed. So depending of what it is and how much you have in there, I would not suggest that. After that, it's really depending, like if your vanilla business is just doing multimedia content, like content creation, like for people, whatever, yeah, I don't see any issue with that. Absolutely. So it's really depending of what exactly is behind that. And the choice between a LLC versus a DBA or remain a freelancer, again, it's depending of your situation and how much money you are making. Like it's not mandatory like to do an LLC to conduct business. You can continue to be self-employed. The only thing that sometimes is mandatory is depending where you are living. You might have to take a business license no matter what, even if you don't have an LLC. So sometimes this is the difference. And depending what you do, you might have to collect sales tax too. Again, it's depending in which state you are living, because every state are different on that. So that's the thing that can come. And the choice of opening an LLC, like most of the time is, we're going to talk about that again later, but most of the time it's because it allows you to have a business bank account. It allows you like to clearly split your life by great different compartments. It gives asset protection. Like if you personally, you own thing that you like to protect, it's great because it separates what you do for work on one side from a legal standpoint of view, and everything that you do in your personal life, it keeps separate. So it's always a question of if you enter in a litigation with someone and someone sue you for a service that you have done, if you don't have a company, whatever like you own is not protected. So sometimes it might be great to have this protection, plus many other things that might be good. So okay, I'm gonna to jump on other questions. So is a business legit if it's not incorporated? As a content creator, do I need a LLC or a corp? So it reflects back what I was saying. So no, you don't need, absolutely don't need to have a corporation to be self-employed. Like it's not mandatory by law. Like there's nothing that state that you have to. And usually, again, it's more for question of having a business bank account, separating asset protection. Usually those are the three first things that helps. And it also helps like if you are like if suddenly like you get losses or whatever, like from a tax point of view, like you can report them the next year. Like there's two things like this that can be interesting. It can be interesting like financially for the thing and protection. And obviously more you're making income, more it becomes very, very interesting because there's also a lot of deduction or possibilities that exist from a tax point of view to reduce your tax that are only open to businesses, not if you are only just self-employed. But at the same time, if you are making, I'm going to say a number, but if you're making like 25,000 per year, don't even think about struggling of opening a company. Don't even think about that. It's not enough money for way too much trouble, so don't. Another question that I got is what's the difference between a C-corp and a S-corp? So the C-corp is a legal entity. The S-corp is not. The S-corp is only a tax status. I know it's very confusing very often for people, but the two only legal entity, I mean, for profit, for business, because there is many other things, but the one that we see the most is the LLC and the C-corp. But the S-corp is only a tax application, so this is the main difference. And after that, it's a question of how it works from a tax point of view. Usually, to get to S-corp, your first step is to open a LLC. Then you file a form, which is the form 2553. Yeah, 2553 with the IRS. And to ask for your S-corp status. So, but just be very aware of one very important thing, and is when you get a S-corp, your tax deadline changed. Like it's become March 15 and not April 15 anymore. So you are losing 1 month. And when you become a S-corp, like from a tax point of view, if you don't file on time and don't file an extension, you will get a fine from the IRS of $200 for every month that you are late. And by member, so if you are one member, 200 per month, two member, 400 per month, 10 member, 2,000 per month. So you need to be very careful with that. And because you need to file another tax, like it's due on March 15, the reason is because you filed the form with the IRS 1120S, which is the tax return for the S corporation. When you file this form, your corporation, your S corporation, will give you another tax form once your business return is filed, and that we call the Schedule K1. And this schedule, you need to use it to do your personal tax return. So you increase your compliance. So it's not always necessarily the way to go. Definitely not as a starter. I will never recommend that to someone that starts, and never recommend that to someone that doesn't make enough money, because your compliance increase really a lot very quickly. So don't do that before looking for that, because it really has a lot of implication that might be difficult like to maintain and to go for it. So be very careful with that. We have a case of someone recently that we talk about that it has been a little tricky. So please don't. Next question that we got is what are the requirements for an LLC once it's open? So mainly, like one of the requirements is that you absolutely need to understand that your LLC is like another person. So you need to cut the thing. Like one very, very important thing is in order to keep like the protection of your asset and keep those two like separate, we always recommend like to people like to have a business bank account. It's not mandatory by law, but what will be mandatory is at least a separate bank account. But be aware that in case of one day of audit and whatever, if you don't have a business bank account, it's gonna to be like the first point that's gonna to trigger a little bit like, how do you really separate your LLC versus your personal life? So you need to consider your LLC like if it was another person that live with you. If let's say this way, if you're the only person, all the money from your businesses must go on the bank account of the business. Absolutely. What you have to do, like a requirement, is that you must maintain your bookkeeping, and it doesn't have to be a over crazy sophisticated accounting. Like you can totally like do like create a file. Like we like typically us at DiTa, we have many clients that are more on the lower income side. We don't recommend them like to use whatever accounting software that you have to pay for, like, or you take one that is free. But sometimes people have hard time like to really understand how accounting works because it's a work. So for some people it's really difficult like to make sure that they enter everything correctly. So sometimes we just like I share very often like with people a simple like Excel file where you can just enter everything. It's gonna to create your category for you, help you to track things. Like what the IRS want is that you need to track like what's come in and what's come out. So, what changed too is obviously when you have the LLC, you track everything. You need to make sure like if you have what are the requirements in your state, because that is different from every state. So some state you might need to take a business license. In some state you might have to collect sales tax, depending on what you are doing exactly. You need to make sure that you are aware of the date to file everything. If you need extension, never forget to look for extension. In some states, when you open an LLC, like typically in New York, you have an obligation. It's mandatory like to do a publication in the newspaper. In many states, like you need to file an annual report. In some states, this annual report is free. In some other states, you have to pay a fee for it. Like in some states, there's a mandatory minimum fee every year. I think the most expensive one is the franchise tax in California because the minimum is $800 per year, no matter if you have done business and make income or not. So it's all this kind of thing. Like before going for an LLC, like it's really like it was to take a time to evaluate your situation, how much money are you making, and what are the obligations in your state, because sometimes it might come as a bad surprise. And if you don't stay compliant with the state, what will happen is that the state will shut down your company and you will not have the right to use legally like the name of your company to conduct business. And when they decide to shut down, it can go very, very fast. So it's not for everybody. It can be a great thing, but with great thing great responsibilities too. So yeah. Next question. What if I want to close my business? Absolutely, you can close whenever you want. So closing the business, it's not enough to just say like, oh, today I'm leaving the building, I close the door, clack, I decide it's over, my business is closed. Nope, it's not enough. You will need like to check with your state like what you have to file to disclose your company, like to close your company. Usually in every state, it's you need to file something. In some states, to close your company is free. In some states, you have to pay a fee, and you will have to inform the IRS too. So that's the two minimum that you will have to do for sure. But it's pretty easy to do. You can absolutely do that. So, and after that, like one thing like that require other work is does your company has a lot of money? Does your company has a lot of assets? That then it require other thing. You might need to, depending of what, like if you have children or other people, you might need to talk to a lawyer for succession because it might have an impact. Like if you close your business and you cash out all the money, depending of how much your company has, I will definitely recommend to talk with a tax person to check that you're not going to have any tax impact or penalty or this kind of thing. But on the legal side, let's say you did open a business, you realize that was a bad idea because you're not using it, you are not making any money or whatever. I've heard that many times. Sometimes people open their business a little bit too fast and they just would like to close because they don't use it. So that if there is nothing, no money, no activity, you don't have goods that the company owns, just easy, just file with the state and the IRS and you are done. It's closed. That's it. Next question that I got is, will incorporation shield me in any way legally? So yes, again, this is the asset protection. Usually this is what people seek the most, is whatever happening with your business and that there's a legal issue on that is on the business side and not on your personal side. So, but in order to keep this protection for sure, certain and safe, you absolutely need to do to have a separate business account. You need to be compliant on your bookkeeping, and you need to show that you never mix your personal life with your business. I've seen way too often business owner paying personal thing directly from their bank account. It's a massive mistake, and I mean stupid thing. I can tell you, I know someone even not in the industry, is in the building industry, is a builder, so he run a multi-million company, is still freaking paying his Netflix and his wine from home or whatever from his business bank account because he doesn't understand that it's not directly his money, so it's hard. So you need to be very careful with that. The business pay the business expense, and yourself, you pay with your own money from your bank account, your personal thing. And the way that when you are only one owner, obviously you need to take money for yourself from the business to yourself because you need to pay your personal expense and you need to live. But the way to do that is to do withdraw a bank transfer, or you can even write a check to you. It doesn't matter what, but it has to be let's say every week, in order to live, you need to get $500 from your business. So every week you can totally take $500 from your business. You make a transfer from your business to your personal bank account. And then from your personal bank account, you pay your utilities and this kind of thing. So this is the way that it works. But yeah. Another question that I got, am I eligible for business loan if I form an LLC or a corporation? So the answer is yes and no. I mean, yes, you are eligible for business loan, but you will very quickly realize that it's not enough to open a business today and just go to ask for a loan because your business doesn't have credit history. So it's not that different. You will need to build the credit history of your business. There is a lot of steps that you can do for that. Usually we recommend to people start with taking a credit card very quickly that your business can have. And it's the same, your business can have a credit card with a small limit and build your credit like this. If yourself, you have a very good credit score as the only owner of your LLC, you can, through your personal credit score, get a loan for your company, but you will be responsible personally of this loan, not your business. So, but this is the only way. I know that lately I've seen a lot of video on TikTok, Instagram, and whatever, of people saying oh, just open a business and come, we can help you to get a credit line, we can help you to get a loan, and many companies like this. So it's a kind of a scam thing, let's be honest, because in reality what those companies do, they help you to apply the same months at least to 15 different credit cards. And all the credit, they try to get you for your business credit card that have a very high limit. And if you have personally a good credit score, you will get them. And they present it to you the way that they do is they cash out the money of the credit card for you. So let's say you get, for example, I don't know, an American Express Platinum, very quickly you will get a 25,000 limit. So this company is gonna to send you an invoice for 25,000 that you are going to pay with your brand new American Express. So the money is out. So the company will have those $25,000 and they are going to give you $20,000 because usually they keep 20%. So don't fall for that. Clearly, it's not a good option. Clearly, I can tell you. But otherwise, yes, you are eligible. It just take a little time, like to build your credit score and but for your business. But you can, and there is way like make sure that you register like online for the it's what DNB, I don't remember the name, like, but make sure that you register, that you get your tax ID for your company to help to build your credit score under this tax ID. But after a year or two that you are in business, and obviously, like, it's not gonna to be different than any other business and situation in life. If you have enough income, yes, you will definitely get a loan for sure, definitely, and based on the business.
So sorry. There's a follow-up question.
Yeah, I'm going now to the chat. So I see all income include income from robbing bank, extortion. DRS doesn't care as long as they get their cut. That doesn't mean the FBI won't do anything about it. So yes, absolutely, robbing bank, extortion of whatever. But in order, like the DRS like doesn't have the right to share your information with another agency, except if there is a federal criminal investigation against you. So I mean, like to reach the level of having a federal criminal investigation against you, it takes quite a while. So that's it. But don't forget, like when you file to DRS, like DRS like doesn't ask you like to give like the details of your bookkeeping. They want you to report the total of each line. So like you in your bookkeeping, you can separate like, oh, this is my digital content. I got that on OnlyFans, this one on Manyville, this one is in person, this one is chatting. Like you can separate your thing. It doesn't mean that to the IRS, you are going to say like, oh, that's this is the income that I got like for full service in person. You're not going to say that to them. You're just going to say like, this is my income. That's it. The total. You have to keep your books. And the IRS would like to see your books in case they audit you. And if they audit you, I highly recommend like to work with a tax person to help you, to be sure that everything is presented well to the IRS, to make it a quick thing, because not all tax audit goes bad. It's just a question of presenting the documentation right to the IRS with the right explanation. So no, like I would not be afraid of that at all. Definitely not. So another question. Follow-up. I have a small social media management company. This is similar to my sex work business. I bill via payment tools such as Cash App, PayPal, under the name of the LLC. Yes, absolutely. This is a major advantage of the LLC, is that it allow you like to open like business account like with PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, all of those companies. And obviously there is way less chance that they're gonna to shut down your account because you are LLC, you are a business. So to them, it still don't reach somewhere the mind that that sex worker can be entrepreneur and have real company. So yes, I have opened a bank account with my LLC. I haven't opened. I will recommend to do that, definitely, because if you have a business account with PayPal, if you like to be compliant and legit, like the money from PayPal should go to your business bank account, not to your personal bank account. That's something that can trigger an audit, typically. I haven't filed tax using my LLC either. This will be my first year doing that, since I just got my LLC. Okay, yeah. If you just got your LLC, obviously you didn't file tax. It's gonna to come if you open like in 22, like this year, you're gonna to file the coming year, or in March 15 if you turn to a S-Corp. If you remain as an LLC, it's gonna to be April 15, your deadline to file. I've had a business license for a few years now. Should open the LLC, a bank account. So yes, definitely yes, you have to open a bank account for the LLC. I highly recommend that. It's very important. Am I creating more work doing that? No, I mean, if you already have the LLC, like you need a separate bank account. It's mandatory. So you have to open one. So So, Kathy, unless you can justify Netflix as a business expense somehow. Yes, depending on what you are doing, it can be a bit borderline, but it is an option, but it's really depending on the job that you are doing. Really, clearly, but yes, it might be possible. Follow up to the previous question, does it make a difference whether the account is with a bank or a credit union? Absolutely not. That's totally your choice. It doesn't matter. You can be a bank account, a credit union, with the one that you like to work with, that you feel comfy, that you know. That is totally up to you. It doesn't matter. You're very welcome, Elle, for absolutely. I'm curious about something you say at the Sex Workers Summit a few months ago. Wow. What are the privacy benefits you can set up with an LLC that aren't available as an individual? Yeah. So the privacy, like when you build a LLC, there's option where obviously, like if you create the LLC, and there's an option where you can build your privacy, meaning that you will, like when we create LLC for clients, we make sure to hide a name and file all the paper with the state to do layers, and which give you a full privacy, meaning like no matter who is gonna to go online and check the name of your company, they cannot find who owned the company. Everything is hidden, and they can be as good as they want as investigation, they will not find it. So there's only like, it's gonna to be like the people who will know that you own this company is really gonna to be like the IRS, because you have no choice. Yourself, if we do that for you, it's gonna to be us or any other lawyer that you can hire or tax firm who do that. And that's kind of it. At the bank, you still need to name a contact name, because they need to know like who has the right to come at the bank in order to sign check or paper or take money or deposit money for the business. So, but this information, it stays with the bank. They don't disclose this information neither. So yeah, what is great is that it gives you the option like to have a business bank account where you can ask people to do deposit directly to your business bank account without them knowing your name, your real name. So it's pretty cool. It's definitely very great. And sometimes people are concerned like, yeah, but if I go to the bank, do the bank will know that I'm trying to hide something? No, it's a very common thing that people have try to protect their privacy. There's many jobs like you don't necessarily want the person coming to knock at your door directly. So like absolutely nothing suspicious about that. The only thing that I've seen like lately, it's sometimes when people try to open a bank account in a too small bank, sometimes the bank doesn't know the setup. So I know it did happen with some client. We had to do a meeting with the bank, the client, and myself to explain them why there is not the legal name of the person on certain document, why they cannot see it online, and it always went through. So, but I've seen that sometimes some very small bank, they have not seen that before, and they are like a bit surprised about it, but otherwise no problem. Another question that I see here. I'm interested in opening a brick and mortar business. That's cool. This will have a vanilla front business, but I will also use it for my sex work related business. My sex work business is established already as an LLC. Great. Will it be better to create a second company for the vanilla business? Both will be operating from the same building. I'm going to say it's really depending on what your brick and mortar business is doing. Even if you are operating from, I would say that as a starting point, you can go with one LLC only. But I don't know how much like you would like to hide like yourself, because I see photography studio, so related. I would say like it's really depending, like, are you trying to, does the name of your LLC, people know it? Do they know it's you? Because obviously if you keep the same name for your LLC but you have a LLC set up in privacy, and people come to your business, your brick and mortar business, and they see the same name, you by yourself, you expose yourself, so you remove the privacy with the other one. No, I haven't shared my LLC name publicly. Yes, but if you open a brick and mortar, like a physical business, it means that most likely you will have to collect sales tax, and you might most likely need a sale for that. Then it means like you might have to display a sales tax permit in your business, your physical business, and on it there is the name of the company. So I mean, I would say as starting point it's great. It can be okay. After that, it's really depending like how much you're okay like to share, and how much what is shared with your business. Like if people can find your personal information, I would suggest to split it, to create a separate company. And if people can't find your information, then you are good. It's just depending of what you are doing and how it has been set up at the beginning. To reply back to Lacey, like to follow up, and I will come back, Katie. Yes, the main concern is definitely the privacy. It's all about that, like, and to be careful with that. And I don't know like how much you are using it, like personally, the name and with who or whatever, and it might have implications. So yes, but the main concern is always privacy, especially when you open a physical location. People will know like at the physical location, like which company run this business. So if they find the name of your business, can they track you down or not? So that's the thing, the most important thing that you need to be careful. And yeah, and depending like where you are financially speaking on your sex work job, I will not necessarily like mix the same LLC like with a photography business and shooting studio business, because this is a photography and studio businesses, like this is somewhere where you definitely very easily risk litigation against you. So I will be careful with that, because it's most likely a kind of business that can be sued very easily by clients that are not happy, complaining, and very painful, but know their right very well. So I will be careful, because it might take too much from you. So just be careful with that. Okay, I'm back to Katie. So I don't think having a shared address is a problem. Delaware has more corporation than they have room for it if they were all physical businesses. Okay, so the Delaware thing, it's a Matthew thing. So technically speaking, when you are a single owner of business, you have to open the business in your state. I know many people think they can just open in Delaware because it's great, because the main reason is the legal reason that people open in Delaware, because they have courts that are used to deal with big cases but very fast. So that's the main reason. But if you open your LLC in Delaware, but let's say you live in New York, you can open your LLC in Delaware, but you still must have to open a foreign LLC. So the Delaware foreign LLC in New York, because you are based in New York, and by law, you must open the LLC where you operate your business, and you don't operate in Delaware. So people think about Delaware. Yes, they do have big address there, but they are all open in the state that they operate to. It's just a base for legal purposes. That's it. And so as an individual, I would not recommend to people to open in Delaware. And deep side, what you think, people think there is a privacy in Delaware. It's not true. It might be true when you open, because you don't need to give your name to them, but after 1 year, you have to file a report, and in this report, your name is asked. So it's going to be a public information after a year. And there is nothing neither in the law in Delaware that say that they don't have to collect your name. It's even gonna to be most likely the opposite, because there's a big thing running right now, like with the DRS and the government, regarding all the companies that are in Delaware, that the government wants all those companies like to disclose the name for all the ones that are registered with no privacy. So if you open a company there, when you did open the company, the Delaware has your name. It's not just published. If they change the law, automatically all the name will be published, because they have it in file. And it's very easy to find who own a company in Delaware. I have tried that multiple times for people. It takes just a few minutes to find the owner and a call to Delaware too. So it's definitely not the way to go. Yeah. Wow. Some very great questions. So feel free. We still have a few more minutes. If you have other questions, you would like to be back in something, more than happy to reply. I hope you took all your notes. But feel free to add more questions in the chat if there is anything else that you would like to cover. Or if there is anything that I say that you have a doubt about it, please feel free, absolutely. Or if you would like to ask question live, same. Please go ahead, raise your hand, and unmute yourself, and please ask your question. And I know it's a lot of information, so, and it's not the most fun subject, but it's very important. It's very important, like, to stay compliant and on track. It avoid by surprise later. How can people work with me? Shoot me, send me an email. You can go on the website on DiTaInc.com. Usually, like, if you go like on my, I can type it here. Like, I have a calendar online, and up calendly.com up, and you can directly here, like, you can book a consultation. If we never work together, like, there's an option for a free introduction. So it's not a consultation in proper meaning. I will not give you like exact advice at this time, but it's at least a first introduction, like, to explain me like your situation in detail, that allow me like to come back to you, say like, hey, here's what we can do, and how long it's going to take, how much it might cost, and this kind of thing. So yeah, and otherwise, if you already know that you have very, very clear question that need a absolutely immediate answer, you can just book a consultation directly. Easy. But stay on the top of your, my last advice, like I would say that for today, is really like try to stay on the top of your compliance, of your tax compliance. And like, there is something that is wrongly think by people, is filing your tax doesn't mean paying tax. It's two different things. Like, filing tax keep you compliant. It helps you like to get a loan. It helps you like to get a mortgage to buy a house, to get a loan to buy a car. It helps you to rent an apartment. So it helps you like to be on track everywhere. But it's not like, I've heard that many times, it's not because you make money, even decent money, that you will pay a lot of tax. There is so many options to almost not pay tax. And that's also one advantage of an LLC. There is a lot of things that exist in the law that mega big corporation apply. Those options also exist and are available for small business. People just don't use them because they don't know, and also because people can't afford usually like to hire like a super big firm that cost, and I know I've been working at those firms that cost like at least $1,000 per hour. So it's difficult, but it's definitely, you need to know like those strategies are available to you, and there is way to almost not pay tax. So don't think that by not filing is a good way to go. Like, there is too many things in life where you will need to have track of what you have been doing. So don't wait like the last minute in order of doing so. That's it. Do you have any other question? Feel free. We still have a few minutes. And yeah. Otherwise, thank you for all your questions. It was nice being with you all like a little bit today. I really hope that everything was helpful for you, even if I know it's super complex. And again, it's not the most funny thing to talk about tax, but it's super important. So Oh, of course. No, thank you for coming. Like, as Sunday, you are brave, especially for talk about tax. Congratulations to you.
Oops.
Seeing a big company can be annoying. My last job was in California working for Freida Corporation, and the richest owner was a California. Oh, but yeah, I confirm that. Like, suing a big company, it's very, very, very difficult. But if you were in California as an employee, by chance, California has good employee protection, like work protection, so it's not the worst case. The worst state to sue a big company, but I totally agree it can be very painful. Definitely, yeah. The artwork behind you looks so. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like yeah, I like cool shit. I might be a tax person, but I'm a super nice person too. So. Thank you. But that was cool.
Hi. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Ash. Hope everyone had their questions answered, especially the ones that got in early. There's always so much to talk about when it comes to especially our industry and setting up a business, because we're told so many times that we're not legit, and we actually are. We're small businesses and entrepreneurs, and the IRS will tax us as such. So when it comes to taking our money, they are totally
Oh
cool
my
with
god!
whatever we do.
Like,
A couple more announcements. Tiana and I will tonight be at an event. You can check that out on Sex for Survival Guide's Instagram or Twitter for the information. We will be sending or selling our merch. We have our branded butt plugs, as well as some keychains left, and pins. We have our pins. So come see us, come hang out. I believe there's a drag show at this event, so enjoy. Also, our next speaker series is me in January 22nd. We can still sign up with the Eventbrite, and I do get your confirmation emails. So no matter what happens, you will get the live stream information. So keep signing up for January. And then Tiana has Time for time management and content optimization, and that's in March. And I know March sounds like a far stretch away, but as the pandemic taught us, time means absolutely nothing. So definitely sign up now so you don't forget and you don't miss that. Anything else, Glittosaurus or Dr. Ash, that we can think of?
I'm just gonna to reply quickly, like to Katie and Chantal that put something like pretty funny. The Joker being more afraid of the arrest than Batman. It's kind of funny. Like it. And so like don't definitely, like I would just say, like try to see the arrest as a wild beast, but when you know the rules, at the end of the day it's only a game with the arrest. So make sure that you play by the rules, and in order to play by the rules, like talk to people that know their shit. Me, for example, I'm not the only one. There's other tax experts, but talk to people that understand what you are doing and that can help you. But there's no reason to be afraid. Like if you play the game correctly, like it's fantastic. Like the IRS can even become your friend, and for real, I mean, because then there's like typically like the last 2 years, like many people did got money from the IRS. They did give like a lot of tax credit, and even for people that didn't pay tax. So when you are compliant, it can be amazing. But don't be afraid. Just play by the rules. That's it. That's it. They are painful. I agree. Hard to communicate with them. Totally agree. Many law. Oh my God, too much. 70,000 page, the entire IRS rule. So 70,000 pages. It's a lot of books, trust me. But play by the rules, and you are good.
All right, excellent. So if that is everything, everybody, please enjoy what is left of your weekend and your Sunday, and we're gonna roll credits, baby.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly. They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly. So glad you came. You and cause without one it wouldn't be the same, no substitute. Now let me kiss you while you place your hand where she wants. She's got me in my back, two on the side, you on the front. Now here comes the sun, they say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly. They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. Here we all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly.
So many ways to love and lust. BDSM, you like it rough. Our cups just love watching us fuck close up. Wife covered in nut, her husband there to clean it up. Nasty as we gotta be, breaking the monotony. Cosplay menagerie, all out debauchery. We share so well, sister wives and subs, lifestyle and swinger clubs. Threesomes and foursomes, awesomes, awesome. Those traps and snacks, the whole room starving. Having my cake and eating it too. Don't took on a different meaning, but you eat it too. We do it all and keep it true. So what the fuck's cheating gon' do? I don't want nobody but you, unless I'm being poly with you.
They say one's fun, two's double, three fantasy. We all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly. They say one's fun, two double, three fantasy. Here we all are, room full of lovers, Polly, Polly. So glad you came, you and you. Because without one it wouldn't be the same, no substitute. Oh, let me kiss you while you place your hand where she wants. She's got me in the back, you on the side, you in the front. Now here comes the sun.